Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Cat's Track. Thank you for subscribing, liking, and sharing this with your friends. Today's episode is with my friend, Paul Crawford. Paul was born in Calgary, and he lives on a small acreage, 250 meters from where he grew up in Springbank, with his 5 brothers and sisters. Paul lives with his beautiful wife, Michelle, and they have 2 amazing kids, Rob and Nicole. They also have 15 nieces and nephews and 8 grandnieces and nephews. They're all extremely close and have a ton of fun when they're together. Besides Paul's family and spending time with them, he's most passionate about learning, self-improvement with spirit and soul, fitness, and health and wellness. He also loves golf, building things, maintaining their acreage, and living life to its fullest. Friends, you'll find his full bio attached. Paul, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, Catherine. Yeah, definitely. I'm honored you asked me to participate in Cat's Track. I'm very excited to be here. And I just also wanted to thank you for what you're doing with this and just connecting people. I think it's really, really amazing.
Aw, thanks, Paul. Well, you've been on my list since the beginning, so it just took me a while to get to you. I'm glad you're here. Thank you. Excellent. So you ready for the questions that we sent you?
Yes, I sure am.
Perfect. The first one being, what's been your greatest challenge in the last few months?
Yeah, so, our business has been really lucky in that, we've been in this essential service. And so we've remained open. We have 9 plants across Canada, that do heavy duty industrial repair, rotating equipment, electric motors and things like that. So from that point, being an essential service has been good. But, our focus is always on our people, their health and safety, their families, the health and safety of our customers, given the type of industry we're in. And so that's really always been our main focus. But with COVID, our amount of volume of work has definitely declined. So that's created some challenges. And as a result, we've had to do some, layoffs, some temporary, permanent, reduced work week, that type of thing. And so, I find that it's difficult because, these are all great employees, they didn't do anything wrong, and it's just, out of their control. And so that's been challenging, just seeing that happen. But I'm happy to let you know that thankfully our business is starting to pick back up. And so, some of these people we're able to bring them back on. So I guess there's definitely a challenge there, but a bit of a light at the end of the tunnel. We're seeing things, like I said, slowly pick up, and as we do that, we're able to bring people back on again.
Oh, that's great news. Excellent. What percentage are you bringing back?
Probably about up to date, we probably brought about half of the people back again.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah. So, like I said, that is definitely a challenge, but with the work picking back up, and everybody's done a really good job at all of our facilities, making sure they control costs, and so it lessens the impact on the employees.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that, Paul. Excellent. And what about the 3 things that you'd like to share with the audience today?
I thought about this, Catherine, and just thinking about 3 things that have been important for me in my life and in my career. The first one is really the importance of mentors. I've been lucky to have some really good mentors in my career. And when I think back on them, there's one who really stands out in particular. His name is George Corey. And I did some work with him maybe 15 years ago. I've done work since then, but I first met him maybe 15 years ago. And I still remember to this day, we were sitting in this boardroom. It's so vivid for me, the conversation we had. And I just walked through kind of my, what I've done in my career and my aspirations. And so then he would ask the questions, why did I leave this place, or what happened here, and I would tell him, the company's vision in mind didn't align, or, the company, I thought there was an opportunity there to develop new products, but the company didn't want to do it, and kind of went through it like that. And what was funny is then George went through it all, and we went back and forth, and then he said, oh yeah, so you've got this big list here, but there's something wrong with your blame list. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he says, you're not on it. And it was one of those instances in my life where it just completely changed my perspective on things. And so, you know, through his coaching and things like that, then I really took more responsibility for, you know, what was my role. And really, you know, what I realized is I didn't speak up enough, right? I didn't speak up when I thought the company should go in this direction, or we should be developing these products. And so that's something that I really had to learn to do, because it isn't naturally for me to you know, speak up and speak my truth. So so I've worked a lot on that in 15 years. And like I said, I think it's one or super important thing for people in the world to have great mentors.
I agree with you. That's awesome. Good advice.
The number two would be just about making sure that whatever role you're in, whatever you're doing, to just, you know, there's things we all have to work on, but just really to be yourself. And again, this is a really good lesson that I learned. It was another great mentor of mine, and Todd Miller. And I was talking to him about, okay, I was starting to get into leadership roles. And, you know, and I was telling him that, okay, you know, I need to be able to be this type of leader. And, you know, in movies and things like that, they always portray, you know, leaders with a big personality, right? Like a Michael Douglas type of a person. And so I was trying to figure out how I could, you know, change to become that. And, you know, again, it was one of those instances where Todd said, no, absolutely not. You can be a leader and just be yourself. He said, you know, he told me all the great qualities he thought I had. And, you know, this is how I can be a leader, you know, with my own personality. And again, it just changed my perspective, because I thought, well, how could I ever be CEO of a company, you know, and if I'm like this, I really need to change and be a different person. And he really brought it home to me that, you know, I don't have to be that way. I can just be myself. And sure, there's things to work on and improve, but for the most part, just completely be myself. And so I guess that's the second thing that I really is a great lesson for me, is it doesn't matter, you know, what you want to do or who you want to you know, become in your career and in life. But the important thing is to be true to yourself and to be yourself.
I love it. Another good one.
And the third one is probably one of the things that has allowed me to achieve a lot of what I've done in my life, and that's persistence. And I'll tell you a story that, you know, really I think reflects persistence. So I decided, I worked when I started my career as a machinist and a welder. And then I decided to go back to school and go to U of C and take mechanical engineering. So when I started engineering, I was 27 years old. So it was kind of later in my life, and I really wanted to get done in 4 years. You know, a lot of my classmates who became great friends were, you know, 8 or 9 years younger than me, right out of high school, and they were fine with taking, you know, 5 years to get done. But I really wanted to get done in 4 years. And so when I got to my final semester of my 4th year, I actually had to take 7 courses in order to graduate in April.
Wow.
And, you know, it was something that was important to me because, you know, I've been through so much with all of my friends and classmates. I just wanted to graduate with them. So I went to the registrar's office, and luckily a couple of the classes I needed were electives. So I went to the register and I was trying to register for 7 classes. And they said, no, you can't do that unless you get permission from the dean of engineering. So I thought, okay, well, this is pretty easy. I'll just go talk to her. So I went and asked her, and she said I couldn't. She said that they don't allow that. It would be taking too many courses. So I'm going to just have to take it in the spring session, you know, and graduate in the fall. but again, it just didn't sit with me. I just thought, well, I'm the one doing the work.
Yeah.
Like why couldn't I take 7 courses? So I did a little more digging and I found out, okay, well, actually, one of these electives I wanted to take was called organizational behavior. And it was about organization design and leadership and things like that. And I found I could take it at the University of Athabasca through correspondence.
Ah,
So I went and I registered. And also, luckily, the advisor that I had, she was based in Calgary. So, I talked to her, I met with her, I told her what I'm doing, and she said, absolutely, you do the work. I think there was like 3 or 4 assignments I had to do and then a final exam. She just said, just do it as fast or as slow as you want. And you need any help from me, just let me know. And so I got it done in record time. And, I went and then I had this course. I went to the registrar's office and they had just added it on. So then I took my 6 courses at U of C, one at the University of Athabasca, and then graduated with all my buddies in April of that year.
that's awesome.
So again, it's just I can't stress it enough. That a lot of times in life, great things will come to you if you're just persistent.
Ah, did the Dean of Engineering come back to you and congratulate you?
I was thinking about that and she never did. And I think, to be honest, I think once I did it, I was kind of worried about repercussions. So I kind of kept my head low whenever I'd go past the dean's office. But yeah, I never had another interaction with her after that. But yeah, I was a little bit sheepish. I wasn't sure if, because she's told me no. And then I went and figured out a way to do it anyway. But
I'm proud of you. That's awesome.
yeah.
And you're persistent in all the things that you do. That's how I experience you always. You're always very dedicated to your goal.
Yes, yes.
I love it. Oh, thank you, Paul. That's excellent. And what
Yeah.
about legacy or good news story that you'd like to share?
Um, just maybe something I'd like to share is around kind of what's happening right now. There's so much drama in the world right now. There's so much with COVID. And I really think that there's, an emotional contagion that's happening, and I think I've always felt there's such a strong positive link, between positivity and health. And so I think, again, we all have to remain safe. We have to change the way we do things. But I think that there's things that we can do every day that, can keep us both emotionally and physically healthy just by following some simple things, like, smiling, even through your mask. You got to wear the mask when you go to the store, but, you can even tell a person is smiling even if they have a mask on, right? And it's about reframing things as well. In our senior leadership meetings every week at work, we have started off with everybody has a good news story. And what I found was, as things kind of moved along in the summer, people were just reframing. We had this big holiday plan, but instead, we stayed home. And, it was so amazing. Our son learned how to ride a bike and we just watched this, and they were just truly, really in the moment. So it's about reframing it. And, they didn't go on this big holiday, but they did something where they just kind of stayed in the moment and reframed things and, refocused it, accept change. I've got a really good routine working from home, a really great exercise program. And again, that's the kind of the final thought I wanted to send out there, is that I think that, there's such a good link between positivity and health, and there's simple things that we can do every day, turn off the news and then engage in other positive things in your life.
I love it, Paul. I knew this interview would be all positive and optimistic. Way to go.
Oh, so thank you, Catherine.
Oh, you're awesome. And I think too, do you read Peter Diamandis stuff? The
Yeah,
Singular.
some of his stuff, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
so he had I don't know if you get his newsletter, but this last week he talked about mindset and longevity and staying healthy through all of that, right? So you're on track for that. You're going to live till you're 120.
Yeah, maybe.
Paul, thank you again for joining us, and please send my love to your family.
I sure will. Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you, everyone. That was Paul Crawford. Please like and share this with your friends, and we'll see you at the next Cats Track. Have a great day.